So now that we have the articles taken care of, I want to move on to the categories. And a lot of this is going to be pretty repetitive because we're doing the same things with articles and categories and users and groups. We're listing them in a table, we're adding new, we're editing and deleting them. So there is quite a bit of repetitive code in each controller. So I'm going to be copying and pasting quite a bit. Alright, so what we want to do first is in our controllers folder, in admin, we want to create a categories controller. So PHP class categories, which has to extend my controller. Alright, and the categories isn't going to have a model, it's going to use the articles model. So the first method I want to have, much like the others, is the index, which is the listing page. And it's going to have a value of categories, which will point to the get categories method inside of the article model. And this should be categories main index. Alright, and let's get, actually I'm not going to have a limit. Alright, so that's really it. Let's create the view, because we already have the get categories method in the article model. We already have that, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, right here. Okay, so we just need to create the view. So let's go to views and admin, and I'm going to create a new folder called categories, and then inside there we're going to create a new file called index.php, and I'm going to paste this in. So we have our flash error message holders at the top for when we save a category and when we delete a category. We're not going to have published. We don't have an is published field for categories, only for articles. And then we just have a for each loop with our category info, the ID, the name, and then the links to edit and delete. Okay, so let's save that and check it out. If we click on categories, alright, so here they are. Now we want to make it so that we can add a category. So let's go back to the controller, categories controller. And I'm going to paste this in, the add function, form validation for the name field. We have our view, which is admin categories add, which we'll create in a second. We have the information, the data array with the fields that we want to add, which is just the name. And then we're calling insert category. Okay, we have to create that. So let's save that and go in the model. And I'm going to paste in the insert category method. It takes the data that we pass in and just calls insert on the categories table. Okay, for our view, okay, make sure you're in the views folder, and then admin categories, and then create a new file called add.php. And I'm going to paste this in. At the top we have our form validation error placeholder, and then we have a form that's going to admin categories add, which we've created, and then just the name field, and there's a publish field, and that actually shouldn't be there. Let me just get rid of that. Alright, so save that, and now we should be able to go to categories and add category. Okay, test, save, and there we go. There's our test category. Okay, so now we want to do the edit and delete functions. So let's go back to the categories controller, and I'm going to paste in the edit function or edit method, which takes an ID. We have the validation, same thing as the add form, except we're going to call the update category function in the model. So let's save this and then go to the article model, and we'll paste in the update category, which is just going to search for the category by ID and then just update the categories table. Alright, and what we need to do is in the views, you want to go to views, categories, and then create the edit.php file. And so we paste this in. Same thing as the add form, except we have our value. You can see right here we have echo category name for our name value. So let's save that, reload, edit, article model get category. Alright, we haven't created that yet. So let's go to the article model, and let's go right under the get categories method and paste in the get category, which will get a single category by ID. So we're passing in an ID where ID equals whatever we pass in, and the categories table, and then we're going to return the row. So now if we save that, now we can edit. Let's say test123, save, and there we go. Okay, so last but not least, we need to be able to delete categories. So let's go to the categories controller and paste in the delete method. Takes an ID, it's going to call delete category in the article model, which we will create now. So let's go to article model, and delete category. We're calling this db delete on the categories table where the ID equals whatever the ID is. Okay, so we should now be able to delete a category, and there we go. Okay, now before I stop this video, you'll notice that even if we're on the categories or articles page, we still have this overview highlighted, and I want to change that so that whatever page we're on, it's highlighted. Alright, we want to do that from inside the header, I believe. I'm sorry, the sidebar layout file. So let's close all these. And go to views, admin, layouts, includes sidebar. So you can see that overview always has this class of active, and that's why it's always highlighted. And I'm actually going to replace everything here. Now this is the same thing. We have the list items, the links are the same. Okay, we're going to admin articles, admin categories, but we put in an if statement here, and we're saying if this URI, so we're using the URI helper here, segment, which is part of the URL, if the segment 2 is equal to dashboard, then we're going to echo active for the class. Okay, and let me just show you. If we go to articles, this here would be segment 2. Alright, so we have the application, the base URL is right here, and then the first segment's here, the second segment is here. And if we go ahead and edit an article, now we have the first, second, third, and fourth segment. So for instance, when we're on categories, we're saying if segment 2 is equal to categories, then we're going to highlight categories in this menu. Okay, so that's what each of these are doing. So if we save that and reload, now categories is highlighted, articles, users we haven't created yet, but you can see that now it's correctly highlighting the current page. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And in the next video we will start to look at users.